What's up, everybody? Yes, this is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, back at it again. Hello, guys. Yes, we had such a hectic weekend this weekend. So, I think some of you guys joined us at the Africa Investors Academy, hosted by Ashley in Africa out of South Africa. It was absolutely amazing and such an honor to be included in that. Big shout outs to her. Also, shout outs to those of you guys doing business with the African Superstar. I also had a tour, some visitors in from London this past week. So it's just been a very, very hectic week. But I'm back on that proximity series. Hello. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. I will wait for you guys to get in the chat room. Yes, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. When you come into the live streams, make sure you are on code yes, and make sure you're a part of the conversation. Now, guys, there are 3 other proximity videos so far. So if you're interested in the series, I will repost after this episode. I will repost the playlist in the chat room. Okay, please get in the chat room, guys. That's when I start the video. Tonight's proximity is they benefit from us, we do not benefit from them. Okay, and this is yet another symptom of proximity. What's up, War Drum? Thank you for being the first one in the chat room and being on code. I appreciate you for being in the building. Yes, thank you guys. I see the lights going up. Oh yes, family. In other news, contact me for your bespoke tour. You're coming to Ghana, you need help with this, you need help with that. Let your African superstar organize and facilitate that for you. It's good for me, it's good for you. Also, we have our celebrity collaborative tour coming up October 19th through the 26th. You want to be there. I know you want to be there. I want to see you there. So please, you can get more details on that tour on Mr. Taye Uhuru's website. That's www.tayeahuru.com. And last but not least, brand new songs spinning everywhere on their radios. Boom, boom. In other news, I had a studio session with Mr. Kojo and Heneba on Friday. We recorded new music. Yes. So for those of you guys that are African Superstar ex Kojo and Heneba fans, there's more music upcoming. So please make sure you add us to your streams. You can patronize the music on Bandcamp. You can also listen to it here on YouTube. So please do the needful. So in recent news, we heard about the tragic circumstances of Angie Stone. And I kind of want to talk about that today because, I mean, literally, if we think about how many disenfranchised, Black Americans, members of the diaspora, actors, authors, inventors, artists, musicians, if we think about all those that we have heard the stories of, being taken advantage of, ending up penniless, losing the rights to their creations, okay, losing royalties, things that were created and innovated by our people that we didn't even know, we found out late in life. Okay, this is a prime example of they benefit from us, we don't benefit from them. Okay, we have to come to the consensus. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to excuse myself from there. What's up, Tuco? I see you there. Shout outs to the 2 of you in the chat room. The rest of y'all need to get on in the chat room. Hello. Y'all know what it is. Live streams is interactive. Okay. Hit the likes. Be a part of the conversation. I'm back on that proximity. So if you guys like the proximity series, show me love. Okay. Be a part of our conversation. We have heard so many times about how they benefit from us and we don't benefit from them. We're dealing with the type of capitalistic vultures. Okay, big shout out to Aka saying white proximity superiority complex. Okay, and basically what this means is if they can't just take it, okay, because there's a lot of things that are innate to our people. If they can't actually compete or mimic or duplicate whatever it is that they're interested in, they will create the infrastructure around those industries to still benefit and capitalize no matter what. Okay, I posted a throwback video last week saying the house always wins. And that's the danger of proximity. You think you're going to get in business with them and still win. You think you're going to go to their, whatever and still come out on top. You think you're going to let them educate your kids and it's going to be better for. No, the house always wins. Okay, the system is designed for them, it's not designed for us. And this is another issue. So I want to share, some of you guys may or may not be aware of Angie Stone's situation. Angie Stone is like a prolific artist. She was a recording artist. She also was a ghostwriter for a lot of people. She was kind of a go-to woman in the industry. And she's been in the music industry for probably 40 plus years, maybe 50 plus years. She started back in the 70s and she recently passed away within the past several months. Well, before she passed away, she divulged on a live stream, actually her last live stream, that she was in a dispute with her record company about royalties, that they had siphoned, I assume because she just has so many hit songs and been a part of so many projects and written for so many artists. I reckon it's probably in the millions of the monies that she never received. And ironically, when she voiced this out, she then died shortly thereafter. And, this is not unusual. You have people like Michael Jackson in dispute with their record company. You have people like Prince in dispute with their record company. Some of the unfortunate circumstances around how these entertainers die, and they happen to be in disputes and lawsuits at the time. I mean, I've been told I'm seen to be a conspiracy theory, but things don't add up. Even when we examine, Angie Stone died in a car accident. Okay, coming from a show, there was some kind of car accident, but she wasn't traveling alone. The vehicle was full of, I believe, 8 or 9 other individuals who all survived. She was the only one that, succumbed to that. So it's just a little strange, but that's neither here nor there. Today, at the 10-minute mark, I'm going to share a snippet of what she had to say. And, we look at, again, our people, okay, mascots in so many industries, generating so much money in the music industry. The music industry belongs to our people. Okay, they've been stealing our people's music and genres, dances, and everything for centuries now. Centuries. Okay, you look at the professional sports and the exploitation for the sports, that's global. Because in the Western world, you have the NBA, you have the NFL, you have the baseball leagues. So you see in all of those areas, and then in the European world, the rest of the world, football, American soccer is the premier sport. So you see all of this exploitation of our athletes because they are just dominating in athletics across the board, whatever that means. So you have the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, you have the football clubs, and they build all this infrastructure around our people, and they eat more than our people. Okay, the owner of Manchester United is getting billions probably compared to what their players get paid. And then this is not also an uncommon theme whereby these people, musicians, have hit songs, diamond songs, double, triple platinum. Recently we saw from former En Vogue singer Dawn that she's been homeless for the past 3 years, living in her car. And, all this due to not receiving what you have worked for. And a lot of us can attest. I mean, we may not all be superstars and we may not all be high earner, famous people, but we can definitely attest to instances in our life where we didn't get what was due to us. You know, we did things in the office, we created solutions, we innovated different things, and we didn't get credit for those things. You know, somebody else got our raise, somebody else got our accolades, somebody else got the award, or somebody else got the perks. I know it's happened to you, it's happened to me. The truth is, a danger of proximity is they benefit from us, we don't benefit from them. And that's what a lot of you have to understand with this whole diversity piece. Okay, I'm gonna show the video at 15 because I'm on one right now. Hello, I'm gonna show the snippet at 15 minutes. Okay, is this whole diversity and inclusion thing, guys, if you just take a minute and sit back, okay, because I know a lot of you've been brainwashed to think that it's important and to think that it's necessary. And the reality is, homogeneous environments are much better for a people, an ethnicity, a group of people to grow up in, period. Because you are in an audience of your peers. You are in a place where you are the fabric of society. You're not a minority. You're not unusual. You know, you belong. Okay? This whole diversity inclusion thing, which has been drilled into the minds of Western Black people, is foolishness because they capitalize from us and we don't capitalize from them. What the hell benefits are we getting from integration? Look at the state of our community. Look at our finances. Look at our kids. Look at generational wealth. Look at our mental health. Okay, all the things that would be indicative of a healthy people, of a successful people, are missing. We definitely have individuals who have escalated to certain levels. It's not even representative of our population at all. There are millions of our people and billions of our people here on the continent. And that one footballer, one movie star, one radio broadcaster, that doesn't even add up. That's not even 1% of our population. So you mean to tell me that only, let 0.2500 whatever is it? Hello? No. Okay? The truth is they benefit from us. We don't benefit from them. All right? So a big shout out to the African Superstar family. Guys, if you in the building, let me hear from you. Let me see you in the chat room. Who's in here? We're going to show the clip of Angie Stone's last Instagram live where she discussed this matter publicly, and then she's gone. What's up? What's up? What's up? War Drum says they have used us and co-opted our culture since we've been around them. Period. Tuco talks about Johnny Walker whiskey. Also, BW3s. I grew up in Ohio, the Midwest. BW3s, the Buffalo Wild Wings, huge, wing chain. That recipe came from a black man, but the white man took it and made the franchise and got all the credit and got all the money. What's up, M. George? I see you there. J-Star, thank you for being here. What's up? What's up? Tuco says, I like that tune by her called Brother, which is a homage to black men. She made so many amazing songs. So many amazing songs. Very, very talented woman, and definitely going to be missed. Definitely going to be missed. War Drum says centuries, and also gives the examples of Olympics. Another, this Olympics is another example of how, where they can't compete or steal or put their name and credit directly on the front of the bottle, they will create the infrastructure to still benefit more than we benefit. Okay, there's no equal deals here. Okay, there's no you take half, I take half, because you're not dealing with a fair and just people, and our people got to understand that. Okay, this is why honestly a lot of our people even get victimized in the entertainment industry, because we believe in trust. We think people are going to do the right thing. Hello, we appoint accountants, and we appoint managers, and these people are handling our millions of dollars of monies or earnings, and we expect them to do the right thing. And then it's not until the end of the road that we realize, oh my God, I've been scammed. All right, so let's go ahead and hear what Angie Stone has to say. Shout outs to the family, guys. If you're in the building, let me hear you. Let me see you in the chat room. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can also support the stream if you enjoy these proximity series.
Mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family.
All right, guys. So that was the late Angie Stone talking about. I hope you guys could hear that. Could you guys hear that? I hope you guys could hear that. If you guys could hear Angie, put a number 1. I know she talked, her voice is quite deep. So I don't know if you guys heard the whole thing, but basically she said that she recently realized that she had not been getting her royalties, that she should have been able to retire about 20 years ago with the kind of money that she earned that she did not receive. And she had entrusted her legal team and these other, music execs to do the right thing. And naturally, they didn't do the right thing. Okay. And this is just another example of proximity danger. Okay. We are not on an equal playing field in that environment. All right. We are not on an equal playing field in that environment. And you should also know, if you're approached by these people to do partnerships and businesses, be smart, folks. Be smart. You are no more precious and dynamic than these people that have gone before you. Okay. It couldn't be you if you're not careful. Because I guarantee you that 100% of their deals are in the interest of them and not of you. I don't think that there's probably one deal that they can present you with that's going to benefit you more than it benefits them. And whatever they are approaching you with, trust me, you're probably worth double, triple, quadruple, whatever they are approaching you. A lot of these record labels are basically raping artists. I just have to say it, okay? Because they have deals, things like 80-20, where the record label is going to get 80% and you're going to get 20%. And out of that, they even give you an advance when you first sign with them, to shoot your music videos and cultivate your image and all this stuff. And they're going to recoup that out of your earnings. And so, someone like Angie Stone, who has been in the game since the 70s, has been making music going back as far as the Sugar Hill game, is saying that she's missing decades of royalties. Okay? When we are in their environment, they benefit off of us. Do you think that when you're in the workplace and you are innovating solutions and you're finding more effective ways to do this and that, and you're doing 2 and 3 people's jobs and functions, you're saving them money? Who the hell is benefiting from that? Is it you? What are you getting besides a little plaque? Thanks for 20 years of service. Employee of the month. A pizza party. Meanwhile, the CEO is getting dividends, stocks, investment opportunities, property, top tier education for their kids, comfort, soft life, travel, and you're getting the plaque, pizza party. Who's behind the music industry? A bunch of fat white men. Who's behind the Hollywood industry? Fat white men. Who's behind the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Soccer? Hello? Fat white men, all eating, prospering off of our people's back. And again, because they are so unscrupulous, they're never going to make a deal that makes it win-win for everybody. Definitely if you are the larger entity in a business deal, you're the one who has the manufacturing, you're the one who has the marketing, you're the one that has the networks. Hey, you should definitely get the bigger share of the pie. But the actual artists or the actual innovators should also get their share of the pie. They shouldn't be walking out of there penniless. Why can't you do a split 60-40 or 70-30? At least. 50-50 is only 50-50 only comes up in households from what I see. Whenever it's business, it ain't never 50-50. 50-50 is like imposed by brothers who don't want to pay the whole whop. Hello, sorry. I've never really heard a lady ask for 50-50 finances. Only brothers complain about that. But in the real world, but these deals are completely crazy. And then they are predatory. So they're going to go for a particular person when they want to get these deals. They're going to go for the most desperate artist that they can, mold. They're going to go for the 17, 18-year-old boy, star of his basketball team, football team to recruit so that, you're not wise enough and savvy enough to say, wait. Let me break this down. Let me examine this contract. Let me get second and third or fourth opinions, or let me renegotiate this thing because it's not in my favor. No, they don't want any educated people. They don't want any critical thinkers. There's performing arts schools across the world, okay, that cultivate, these Broadway singers and top actors and musicians and all this stuff. Very seldom do you see them get, at the top of the music charts or, being the leading cast in movies. Because why? Because they're too smart to play them. They want to go after particular people that they know they can get this stuff over on. So proximity, guys, they benefit. We don't benefit. It's not even an equal playing field. Okay? For us simply being in their environment, they benefit from that. And like I've made, previous videos, if they really wanted us out, if they really just think, what, Black people are just a menace to this society, we need to extract them from our society, they could have easily done that. But no, they know that they need us in their environment. They don't like us, but they need us in their environment to fuel their industries. Duh. And not only do they capitalize off of our talent, they capitalize off of our consumerism. Hello. The house always wins. Us in their environments is a win-win for them, not for us. Hello. It's a win-win for them, not for us. All right, shout out to the African Superstar family. I'm back at it again with another proximity video. Yes, I'm going to add this to the playlist. This is the fourth on proximity. Proximity is our closeness to our historical enemies, our colonizers. Okay, we think, some people do. I realized. Hello. you can't live peacefully with them. But some of you guys think that. Some of you guys believe that. We even have people here on the channel that say, "Well, I live in a black community." We have a young gentleman here. "Well, I live in Virginia, and I live in a black community and this and that." Bro, the whole infrastructure of your life is not facilitated by black people. Let's be real. Okay, who controls your media? Who controls your government? Who controls your infrastructure? Who controls the schools? You might live on a block of black people or even a small community of black people. That's not even remotely reminiscent of the entire United States. Okay, you cannot sit in water and not be wet. Just because it's not on your street doesn't mean it doesn't impact your people, our people, the future generations. Okay, you cannot be in that proximity and expect to thrive. It's actually really, really crazy for us to think that we can do it. And just because our people have been persistent in surviving all these hardships doesn't mean that it's good for us. It's gradually chipping away at our people. And as we can see, I believe this generation is more dysfunctional than ever. This current generation and the future generations are the most dysfunctional of ever of our people. Okay? And I definitely attribute that to proximity. Proximity is the silent effects of being in that environment. We have the very loud and the very obvious effects, but proximity, just simply living among your enemies and thinking that you're going to be able to survive. I did a video the other day about that young lady in the office talking about how they watch her and they obsess. Us being close to them fuels their obsession and their possessiveness of us. When you're not there, you don't have to deal with that on an everyday basis. And I can personally say, as someone who's been there and now living in Ghana, it's so much more free to live in an environment where I don't have to deal with that intensity all the time. Okay, but today's topic is proximity. They benefit off of us. We don't benefit off of them. At the end of the day, they're walking away with fat pockets. They're walking away with accolades. They're walking away with new technologies. And we're walking away with diddly squat, but a sad sob story. Okay? Big shout out to African Superstar family. All right, let's go through the comments. If you are here in the building, make sure you like the stream. Hello, we got 23 of you. We got 14 likes. Get the likes up right now. Get them up. This is a live stream. If you don't want to like my live streams, you shouldn't be here, fam. Hello. Hello. All right. All right, let's get started. War Drum is in the building. Tuko Pamajoa is here. Akua Ekumeka. Big shout outs to you. Aka. Aka says white proximity superiority complex is what this phenomenon is called, but I just call it proximity for short. Yes. Wardrum says they have used us and co-opted our culture since we've been around them. And it's a fact. I was thinking about Elvis Presley. Okay, Elvis Presley stole his dance moves, some songs, his whole image from our people. And this has been going on since the beginning of time. I heard even Shakespeare was stolen. I heard The Matrix was stolen. You know what I mean? So much that our people have created. I heard the maxi pad was innovated by a black woman and she was able to get it patent. But guess what? There was a doctor who wanted the technology. So he stonewalled her some way that she wasn't able to release her product. And he waited for the patent to run out. And when the patent ran out, then he came on the scene and released the maxi pad and has been, benefiting ever since. So many sad stories. And you would think that our people will wake up and pay attention and be like, you know what? Being here in this environment is just not wise. There's so many more drawbacks than there are positives. And only house niggas, excuse me, because I know some of you guys are watching me here, only house niggas are going to be like, but the scraps from the masses table are better than the whole damn pie. That's how some of you guys think. Because you're brainwashed. Okay, you've gotten so brainwashed that you think that the scraps that you're getting in that situation are better than potentially being self-sufficient checking out new options, maybe checking out a new environment. Some people come on my channel and they say, you know, you ran away, you abandoned America. You're damn right. Yes, I got the hell out of Dodge. Okay, let me just give an analogy of the wildfires that just came and ravaged California. Are you gonna freaking see the wildfires coming down the hill and say, nah, I'm gonna ride this out? Now, I know some of you guys think you're cowboys, and some of you might try it. And even some people tried it in California and got burned up, and you know, they found their remains because you're extra hard headed. Okay, I'm not gonna see danger coming and consuming and swallowing up people around me and then think that, you know, it's narcissism to think that you can confront the same situation and you might not have those outcomes. Okay, remember Sandra Bland, remember George Floyd, remember, you know, all the countless names of the victims that have been brutalized at the hands of these people, and they never thought they were going to become victims. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. How about if you're proactive, you just start eliminating, you start doing your own equation and saying, oh hell no. The statistics, the probabilities, likelihood of me getting caught up in some BS is high. So let me go ahead and rearrange these statistics to be more favorable. You can say I ran if it makes you sleep better at night. I am so okay with my decision to remove myself from a dangerous environment. I'm so okay with that. Huh? Some of you guys read your Bibles. The Bible says the wise see the danger ahead of them and avoid it. Okay? Wise people say, oh my God, the road is about to, there's a cliff at the end of this road. Let me take a detour. There's a wildfire coming to burn me up. There's racist people all around me. Hello, there's chemically modified food. I'm going to get sick and get cancer and die if I stay here, keep eating this food. The wise people see all that stuff and say, no, 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 no. Let me change course so I can have a better outcome. Huh? Only crazy people see what is becoming of our people for centuries of time, knowing that their lifetime is limited, and say, no, 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 I'm just going to, you know, come what may, let me see what happens. No, no. The proximity to danger is killing our people. So many of our people have become victims of proximity just from being there. Just from being there. Yes. If you don't want it to be you, and you're wise and you're ready to, you know, do something, then do something. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Please hit the likes, guys. The likes ain't liking. What's up? Get the likes up, please. Right now. What's up? What's up? Tuco raises Johnny Walker whiskey, another stolen, you know, recipe. I believe Johnny Walker, I believe he was a slave. And that his master took the distillation process. Boy, I got tongue tied, to make the whiskey, and obviously laughed all the way to the bank. M. George is here. J Star is here. Tuco was talking about Angie Stone, that he loved the song called Brother. I love Brother too. It's a good song. What's up? What's up? Yes, rest in peace to Angie Stone. J Star says the way they flip it when money gets involved, friendship goes out the window. Oh yeah, I mean, some of you guys have probably had it happen to you. You've had childhood friends and you thought they was cool. You brought them to the barbecue. You married them. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts. Okay, the minute you get on top of them somehow, the minute you're, oh, you know, you're in the lead, you're earning more money, or you're getting ahead. Suddenly, they don't feel comfortable. They got to always be on top of you. Okay, there's no relationships out there where the black is on top of the white. Financially, you know, education wise, you know, none of that. They got to always be on top of you. That's how those equations work. Tuco says we're dealing with an unrepentant nation of narcissists. Woo, my goodness. That sentence alone. Let's say it again. We're dealing with an unrepentant nation of narcissists. This is so tragic and sad hearing talk how they used and abused and siphoned off millions of her royalties gone but never forgotten. Guys, I think at the 40-minute mark, I will play the video again of Angie Stone's last live where she discussed how her record label siphoned and stole millions of her royalties. Um, I will recap that for anybody who has just joined. J Star says they are very calculated and meticulous, but lacking arts and ideas, and that's why they watch us to get inspiration. Very facts. Brown Coat Blue, what's up? What's up? Brown Coat Blue talking about you got Employee of the Month. That's what they're giving you. You just closed a multi-million-dollar deal for, JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America or Barclays or HSBC, and they gave you the parking spot. What the hell? Hello. What the hell? No. It's not adding up. J Star says, let's not forget the horrible black male producers who sell out their own people, nasty male producers who have relationships with black female singers to rip them off of their royalties and help them sign bad deals. They're always going to get, unfortunately, I mean, it's been evident throughout history, they're always going to get people from our community to sell out because they know our people sing and dance for money and sing and dance for peanuts. So obviously they're going to infiltrate, they're going to get some people on their behalf. The music business is a very dirty business. That's why I'm an independent artist and I'm going to remain. I have no interest in partnering with them, nothing. I'm going to toil for my own art and I'm going to benefit off my own art. That's just how it is. And I would recommend other artists to take the same path if you can. Be very integral in what you're doing. And when they start approaching you, that means that you're hot. That means you have something to offer. So be smart about it. Okay? Because any deal that they're bringing to you benefits them. It don't benefit you. All right? Tuco says the record company takes the lion's share of the royalties. It's a pity she couldn't have gone completely independent, but she didn't have the clout and the resources a major record company has. Doing things from the ground up is hard, and I guess a lot of our people kind of refrain from doing hard things. But at the end of the day, getting played in the end is just as hard. I mean, I'm pretty sure the realization of, oh my God, and I mean, I can't really fault Angie Stone because the music industry is different now compared to when she entered. Okay. There wasn't social media. It would have been a lot more difficult for an artist to get national and international recognition and visibility, probably without the help of the music industry, because again, that's how they build the infrastructure. That's how they get you roped in. It's like, okay, you come and sign with us and we can make you a star. We got connections in media, we got radio connections, we can get you tours going and all this kind of stuff. And that's part of the glitz and glam and allure. But in this modern day, where you can be a lot more integral, you can be more grassroots, you can be independent, it's definitely the way to go. Is it going to be more capital intensive? Yes, because you're not getting a lot of advance money from your record company. However, the benefit is if you have a big song, you don't have to divvy out your earnings 10 different ways. You're going to get those benefits. And I think that's the best thing about it. And the reality is you're either going to feed yourself or you're going to eat from somebody's hand. Whenever you eat from somebody's hand, there's always stipulations. Okay, so sometimes our people don't want to do for self. They think it's easier to just let, these third parties work on their behalf. I mean, it's been my example that in most cases, it's not the better option, So you have to be really smart about it involving with that. Antonio Mize, what's up, brother? Good to see you there. He says they don't want you, but they need you. Facts. Tuco says she trusted them to be honest and equitable, but they exploited her and siphoned off of her resources. What's up, Tony Africa? Duffly KM, I see you there. Brown Coat Blue says only a fool learns from his own mistakes. What's up, Khalif? I see you there. Lex is in the building. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and recap. Miss Angie Stone. Today's topic is proximity. They benefit from us, we don't benefit from them. Okay, everything that they promote us to do is for their benefit, not our own. So you can hear this was probably about a month before Angie Stone passed away in a car accident, and she was exposing her record company for stealing money from her. So let's go ahead and hear it out.
Mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family.
Yeah. So that was Angie Stone to join, the ranks of artists that have lost with these record labels. You know, the house always wins. That's just the truth of the matter. And this is a result of proximity. When we are living among them, they have even more access to do things like this. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth. Our presence benefits them more than it benefits. We're the ones suffering. Dealing with racism, putting up with psychological issues. Watching our kids face extreme bullying in the schools and brainwashing, chemically modified foods. We're in that environment. It's not good for us. It's not good for us. And it's evidenced by the status, the mental status, the financial status of our people in those environments. We are no better off today than we were 100 years ago. And it's only going to get worse. Shout outs to the family. Yes, that's what tonight's topic is. Hello, if you're here and you have any more comments, make sure you leave them in the chat room. I have a whole series on proximity. This is the 4th video so far. I've talked about different elements of the proximity because a lot of people don't realize just by being there, just by the everyday minutia, okay, you are at risk. And I want to also send a PSA to my American viewers. I know that the racial climate over there is definitely exacerbated currently, and it will be like that throughout the whole, presidency. I just want to advise you to order your steps if you are not, if you're not planning to evacuate that environment, because they're looking for any reason to make an example out of you. Okay, they're naturally aggressive, and if you are not watching your back and trying to avoid certain encounters and things like that, unfortunately, you will become a victim. That's just the reality, guys. I can't really dance around things here. I just got to say it straight. That's what you potentially face, because that's the environment that you're in, the dangerous proximity that you are in. It's real. And I really, really also encourage those of you guys that can make, can make moves, make moves. Make moves. Don't delay. Because all the people that have become hashtags because of proximity, hello, none of them planned on becoming those victims. None of them thought it's going to be me. We've all heard about it. Okay? We've all encountered it. We all know these things happen. But we never think, okay, it's going to also happen to me. And some people are just delusional, living in that very extremely dangerous environment and not considering the danger and how it could potentially impact you. It's very, very irresponsible and super delusional. Okay, the plight of one black man is the plight of all. All right? Don't be stupid. I know y'all don't like it when I use that word. Don't be dumb and stupid to see what's going on around you and think that you are somehow, are you invincible? Huh? Are you bulletproof? Are you immortal? Or I mean, or could the same things befall you? And obviously for someone like me, you're vocal, you're Pan-African, you're pro-black, you're very intelligent, you're a critical thinker, you're even more threatening to them. And you're sitting over there and that's what always gets me. These people that, for instance, contest the government and they're in that place. And I'm just like, bro, you're pretty much an easy access. Matter of fact, if you're in the UK and you're like criticizing the British government, they have CCTV like everywhere. They can monitor you. They could find you in 2 seconds from their computer. So these are things to be considering. But this series is just to illuminate the proximity dangers because some of you don't think about them all. And again, some of you are ignorant because it's not happening to you per se. You're oblivious to what the reality is going on in our as a whole for our people. Okay, if I'm eating in my house and I have food in my house, but the whole damn community is starving around me, guess who's also in danger? Do you think those people not starving going to just maybe turn against me and say, oh my God, Gina's got extra food in there, we're about to come for you? Hello? What's up, Miss Elaine? I see you there. What's up, sweetheart? I'm glad that you catching up on the proximity, baby girl. Yes. We have 4 of them. I'm going to add this to the playlist. I'm also going to repost the playlist to the community tab so you guys can catch up with the other proximity videos if you have not, because it's a very real impact to our people. A lot of our people are suffering due to proximity and they don't talk about it. And this is something also, African migrants, the Afro Latinos, they don't also know about this part because a lot of them are coming from homogeneous environments where they have only lived among their people. So they don't even know the potential dangers of living with these folks up close and personal because they never have. But like one of my favorite African parables is you can't sit in water and not be wet. You can't be in the middle of a chaotic environment and not think it's going to come in and get you guys. You have to be grateful if it hasn't impacted you up to now. Know that you're fortunate. Okay, know that you're blessed. Know that maybe your ancestors are looking out, but don't take it for granted. Okay, utilize the fact that you have not potentially been impacted directly. Use that to protect yourself and prepare for the future. Don't just keep saying, I'm just going to keep rolling the dice. I've been lucky up till now. As they say, every dog has his day. Hello, hit the likes if you're here. What's up, family? What's up, Frank Caramay? Yes, yes, yes. Frank says, very painful. Many people sacked from jobs in America, especially black people. Oh, yeah, that might be another episode. That's not today's episode, but yeah, it also kind of does tie in because you see, when you get into that comfort zone and you're in a dangerous ass proximity, at any day they can clap you. Hello? Any day they can clap you. That's what some of you guys don't realize. You are in a consuming environment. They're all around you and they facilitate your everyday needs. If for some reason they decide, I'm not doing this for Frank no more. I'm not doing this for Elaine. We gonna cut them off over there. We gonna shut this down. Then what you gonna do? A lot of people, for instance, that work for the government probably have been career government employees, found out the hard way when their jobs were just eliminated overnight. Now they don't have a job. I even personally know some people that work for the government that were living overseas and now they have to go back to the US. They haven't lived in the US in over 10 years. They're going to have to go back to the US, get their bearings in a row. You see, because you can't get comfortable in those situations. It's always better to be self-sufficient. It's always better to have a plan B. I know I sound like a broken record, but it still remains true. Okay, you're sitting there and you just get used to it how it is. And you're not ready for any bumps in the road. You know, or like a rainy day. I was having a conversation with my girlfriend earlier today, and you know, she was expressing to me she has some nieces and nephews who their parents have royally spoiled them. I mean, you know, they are well into their adult years now and their parents pay for the majority of everything they need, from their car to their housing to their everyday needs. And you know, the unfortunate thing is that their parents are aging and their parents are not always going to be there to do for them as they have been doing. And because their kids have grown up with that kind of reality, it is a strong indication that when that day comes, because that day will come, they are going to struggle. And in some cases they may not be able to adjust because they're literally their whole life, you know, they've not been promoted to be independent, they've not been promoted to take care of themselves, they don't know those hardships, and they're not going to know them until, you know, in their I'd say they're in their 20s or 30s. So they're into their adulthood, well into their adulthood, and they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to prepare for tomorrow sometimes, guys. You know, how many times do you need to endure these things over and over to realize that it's a threat against your life and your kids and your future? Hello. Proximity. All right. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Yes, in other news, please book your tours with me. Hello. Book your tours with me if you're coming to Ghana, or you know, you need somebody to escort you around or show you around, or you need some things, some information. I'm happy to work with you on consultations to get that information. Also, we do have land available at Shy Hills for some of you guys that are considering land. Beautiful land, virgin land, litigation free. I'm working with Sister Yacht and on that project. So if you're interested in lands, please get a hold of me, africansuperstar@gmail.com, and make sure you're streaming our music. Yes, don't be the last ones to know. Hello. We have my latest track here on YouTube called Boom Boom. It's also streaming on all the streaming sites, and it's also on the radios here in Ghana. So if you're here, you might hear me boom boom through your stereo. Yes. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. All right, thank you guys so much for your time, for coming and seeing me. I still have several more layers of proximity that I actually prepared a list of all the different topics I want to go through. So we're going to be on this proximity for a little while. So if you enjoy it, again, check the community tab immediately following this broadcast. I'm going to put the proximity playlist there for those of you guys if you want to catch up, because this is the fourth one in the proximity series. Okay, family? All right, Dovefly KM, I see you there. All right, family, until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.